Hello all, Somber here. This is another in my series of videos of my multiplayer Dominions 5 game playing with the Warhammer mod, or Warhammer Nations, and I am playing as the Greenskins, more specifically the Bone Nose tribe. It is turn number 22. We finally got enchantment level 4, so we've got flaming arrows when we want it. We view a battle in Nuln. So the Dwarfs had taken the capital of Nuln, and then they've sent their army back to take it. Their army's quite scary. The dwarves have just left a commander behind to, like, maintain the siege and check on it and everything. Let's have a little look at this army then. So we've got lots of strength of giants going off. They've got a ton of bright wizards who obviously automatically cast Phoenix Power, and they also have combat caster. Yeah, some nice mage firepower there with them. And then they've got a bunch of crossbows and a bunch of spearmen, and then a lot of knights. This is the main threat here, is the knights top and bottom, so we would have to bog those down if we wanted to fight this army. Yeah, strength of giants all over the place. Strength of giants isn't actually that good on these troops. It's okay. I guess it's decent on the spearmen. We took control of Mammoth Grove. That was a Nuln province, and we attacked this Nuln province, Tyriana or Tyranea, and this is the Hoburg one. We've got some little Hoburg crossbows and things defending that. That's our big force here, so that was not an issue to take. Don't think we lost anything in the process. Lost a forest goblin, whatever. And then we have a battle in Boaties, and this is our god finally breaking into that lake and getting these juicy, or like 10,000 population. They're big provinces. They're certainly over 100 income. That's the main thing. So just summon Earth Power, skeletal body, and then obviously he just relies on his aura and his fear. And he kills a few every turn. He just kills like 1 or 2, I think, every turn. Usually 2. It's just the aura and the fear and his protection, all combined. And he takes like no damage from these guys at all. Unexpected event in Numecria, Unrest and Misfortune. Maybe we can get a patrol going there. And then in Devourer, we get an Amber clan priest joining, looking for an ancient temple. There's an ancient temple right next to him in another province, but there isn't one in that province. Got a palisade up in Cormark. That's the Throne province. So where was it that we had that Unrest? Let's have a look at that. Numecria. So we could do with something patrolling there. But it's not really a priority, I guess. I am just moving everything back to my throne province. I don't intend to defend this province because they can just move out here. Their army's strong enough. But because we've taken that, and the route this way is through Highland, they can't hit this province. So here we're just going to patrol for a turn and hold on to that. We're going to hold on to this as well, but we're going to move our troops out back to the throne. So we're just massing everything back at the throne, and I imagine they might hit this province, so I haven't really left anything there at all. We're just moving back to the throne. We are sending Zarg, the Orc Great Shaman, over with the Flame Helmet on, and he will be able to cast Flaming Arrows. He'll also be able to give the Flame Helmet to this lad who's got Fire 3s, because then we'll have a native Fire 4. Fire 4 able to get up to Fire 5 with Summon Phoenix Power. So that'd be very nice to have over there. And we'll have both of our Shaman over there. So we'll have a very strong force there. Doesn't like anyone else is planning on attacking me or anything. I saw some Bretonnian and Ogre fighting out there. I think everyone else is in a war, basically. And I'm just kind of vulturing. I've grabbed a little bit here, and if anyone tries to grab any of the bits off me, then I'll grab them back and go into a war over them. It's fine. This stuff's mine as far as I'm concerned. So what else are we getting up to this turn? Well, we're carrying on with our research, distributing out these owl quills. So we've now got quite a bit. They give us 6 research for each owl quill, and we're making 2 of those basically every month. I'm not sure if we're making 2 this month. We're making another ring of water breathing because I like having lots of rings of water breathing. But are we making another owl quill? I think we may not be. Let's have somebody make an owl quill. Griblet, your job is to forge me an owl quill. Because we've got tons of air gems, and I want that research. Tons of nature gems too, and because of that, I am going to empower Durgut Dwarfbiter rather than sending him underwater. He's actually got a ring of water breathing on, but I'm not using it. So I'm going to send him. I'm going to empower him, so he'll have a big rainbow stack of abilities, stack of paths. He's going to empower it into Astral, and that will allow him to forge the Moonvine Bracelet to give us another nature booster. I've accidentally knocked him off being empowered there. That was silly. Let's set that back up. Empower in Astral. So from 0 to 1, 50 Astral Pearls, very expensive, but as far as I'm concerned, worth it. He's going to be a kind of rainbow guy for doing forging and things for us, so that would be very nice, very welcome indeed. We've got 2 hour coils going, another ring of water breathing. Do we need more rings of water breathing given that we don't have people going underwater right now? Do we have someone at a lab who can go underwater and search? Almost got a shortage of mages. Not really, but almost. I think Squigface, who's got air, water, death, and 2 nature, he can just go underwater for us. So we'll put a ring of water breathing on him. I want someone to be immediately sight searching. We're sight searching down here now, but I want to get sight searching these lake provinces immediately, so I'm just going to send him over there. We've got fantastic gem income. It's not really our weak point, our gem income, but you can always have more. They really are fantastic. It's just gem income pays huge dividends, and it means you can be quite wasteful and win just by being wasteful and throwing resources at stuff. You can even just alchemize them. I mean, it's not terrible early on to alchemize them into gold, to just have more gold. If you need to get a castle or something up, then that's a perfectly reasonable way of doing it. Anyway, we are building a fortress here now. That'll be 2 turns. We want to get that reinforced, and of course we've got a palisades going up there. And I'm going to send my prophet over there and build a temple. So we want a temple and lab in all of these. We want to get a lab up here as well at some point, but at the moment it's just making one of these great shamans every turn. We're making some more war boys and archers. I'm making a lot more archers at the moment because we are able to cast flaming arrows. Anyway, that's everything for this turn. I will see you next turn. Welcome back. It's turn number 23, and happy Thanksgiving weekend to all those who celebrate. So research and construction is completed. I think that's level 3, so who cares? Delegate Dwarf Biter empowered himself in Astral, so we've now got our Moonvine Bracelet and various other things Forger available. Maybe I should have empowered my Nature 3 Great Shaman on a Wyvern in Astral, because he's got more mobility and so on, and he's got... but this one has got Earth as well, so I've got the Earth Astral combo in theory, for doing crystal coins and things like that. Bit of site searching. We've got 3 sites here: Skysmith Oak, Whispering Woods, and Glenavant Greenery. I believe that's nature gems and air gems, but we can go and check that at the end. Didn't find any there. 2 magic sites: Gem Deposits, which is just gold, is good, and Enchanted Windmill, which I believe is just air gems and maybe some supplies. And then we've got another magic site in Cormac. So we're doing really well on magic sites. Our gem income is fantastic. Our research is not so good. And we haven't really been winning any wars, but the thing that we can really point to is we have fantastic gem income. So we should really be making the most of that whenever we can. Skaven Blight has a new prophet. Unobserved garbage bags. And we see a battle in the Typhian Sea. This is our god knocking over another underwater province. So going to put this on super fast. I will always show these battles because I know people enjoy watching battles and things, but this is the same thing that you've been seeing the whole time. The god's never going to take a hit, and he's going to destroy these people with ease. The god's actually been... Has he been worth it as an awake god? I don't know. He helped me with expansion, and he helped me feel safe from being attacked in the early game, although I probably would have been okay anyway. And of course, by being awake, I got to use the Bless on my Sacreds, so maybe. But certainly, he shows the strength of a Titan in taking underwater provinces, because he's been flawless at taking those. So here we have Dark Elves with their god attacking some Slaaneshi, just minor raiders. There's this lad with his pet goat. What a pervert. And then there's a bunch of beasts and things. It's a very minimal move to just knock over some basic raiders. But it works out fine for the Dark Elves. They kill a few raiders. A battle in Merpeto Cliffs. I don't really have a sense of who's winning that war, by the way. Answers on a postcard if you've worked out who's actually winning that, because I don't know. I'll have to send some more scouts over there. Battle in Merpeto Cliffs. This is Nuln attacking the dwarfs, and this battle is big. So we get to watch a big, juicy battle. So Nuln's force consists of, at the top and bottom, a ton of knights. Knights of good quality, including Knights of Sigmar's Blood, although I don't think they've got a relevant bless on them, and they may not even have a blessing present. They might not have a priest present to bless them in this battle. They got their prophet here. How about the prophet? Okay. So they will be blessed. We'll see what their bless is. But we've got a bunch of different types of knights, including a couple, not very many, but some Demigryph Knights that are particularly nasty. We've got a big block of spearmen who are just kind of a line holder, and then we've got quite a decent number of these state crossbowmen, and they are backed up by an evocation battery of 4 bright wizards and is that 6 gold mages, gold wizards. So a pretty strong force. I would say that the dwarfs have got stuff that's very good against this kind of thing. So let's have a look what the dwarfs have got. The dwarfs are fielding a bigger force, I would say significantly more expensive. These sacreds are they 50 gold each? I can't remember. They're expensive, and they've got a bunch of them. These are the Rune Guard, and they're basically going to be fire immune once they got their blessing there. They've also got a bunch of their sacred Valkyries over there. We've got miners. We've got a small number of Iron Breakers, not very many. And we've got a screening force of rangers, and we've got some raiders, who are the like Sauronation style cavalry, and some lion tribe things mixed in. I presume these are mixed in because he's going to cast flaming arrows, but he's also got the engineers in here that give automatically give buffs that give flame and aim and flaming arrows to 1 square every round, so they'll be helping. And then we've got a ton of dwarf crossbows here, just the basic crossbows. The other thing worth mentioning that they've got in this force is Thunderers. So this is a much bigger, stronger force, and they've got the Thunderers. Thunderers hit very hard with armor negating attacks, 10 damage armor negating attacks at range, and they've got a very nasty attack in close range as well. So this also has 10 ammo, so quite a lot of ammo. I think Thunderers might be a bit too strong, and we may have to tone them down a bit, but we'll see how they do in this battle. So the dwarf's starting off with Summon Earth Power, things like that. What I'm going to do is just put this on slow, I think. We can see what happens. Big volley, starting volley of fire, which is going to already do quite a bit of damage to these knights. Knights do have kite shields, but these are very, very strong crossbows, and we can see the lightning shots going over there. This is all the lightning from the Thunderers, and they fire very quickly, so those knights take a lot of damage straight away from those. The Empire crossbows are aiming, looks like they're on fire archers orders. Oh, but they're hitting the miners. No, they're on fire random, perhaps. They're hitting the miners at the back. The knights at the north are not doing very well, or the top of the screen. The ones down here have killed a lot of rangers. The rangers have just been smashed by the knights. And where they've hit the clan dwarfs, they've also done a lot of damage down there, killed a lot of them. But you can see the crossbows are just taking their toll, and the Thunderers are killing a lot of stuff too. Thunderers are super strong, and there's a lot of them. The Empire is using not buffs, but instead... let's have a look at their bless actually quickly. Magic weapon, strength +2, blood surge, melee soil. So pretty strong. Those sacred knights should be pretty strong, but it's just not a great matchup for them. The Empire are using a lot of evocation, but it's basically magma bolts and fireballs, which is not hugely powerful. It's certainly fireballs are good against dwarfs because dwarfs pack in 4 units to a square quite a lot, because a lot of them have formation fighter, and it can be very effective there. The knights at the north have lost. We've got 1 Demigryph left, and the knights at the south are basically routed now against the clansdwarfs and miners and things. Most of the rangers died. A lot of the arrows are being wasted on miners, although hitting miners isn't bad because they don't have shields, so they are killing quite a few things with the crossbows. It's good for me to see big losses on both sides. There was a flare cast off script, some fireballs. You can see the fireballs doing a lot of damage. But yeah, overall the Empire offense has completely fallen apart. Their main line holding stuff's fallen. Now the dwarfs have an interesting problem here, that they are a sit back and fire force, and they advance very slowly, which means they will take some unnecessary casualties from the evocation and crossbows here. So we're going to see, I'm going to put the speed up to normal now, we're going to see a bit more, but we see the Empire forces now starting to rout, so they're not going to have to take too many more casualties. And their own missile fire is more than enough to beat the crossbowmen. I mean, look at that. So they didn't cast flaming arrows, they just relied on their engineers, but it worked out very well for them. And it looks like the Empire are going to escape with most of their mages, although some things will die in retreat because they don't have this province surrounded by friendly provinces. Let's look at the casualties on both sides and get excited about the fact that 2 potential enemies, well, 1 people were already at war with, Nuln. They lose 1 gold wizard, but the rest of them survive. They didn't kill very much, the bright wizards got more kills. The magma bolts from the gold wizards were not very effective. Keep all their captains and profit and everything. Black Bear Knights lost 14, killed 9. So Black Bear Knights are basically just knights with, I think, a little bit more strength than usual. So they hit kind of hard. They didn't do very well. Demigryph Order Knights, terrible. Didn't kill a single thing. This is a concern for me. I think the Demigryph Order Knight at 65 gold it needs to be buffed up in some way. possibly make them a bit tougher, possibly give them a lance. Problem at the moment is they have the sword, they don't have the lance. We could have a lance on them as well. I just change the graphic and give them a lance. But I have seen these units underperform in several battles, so I would say it's time for me to do something about that. Gold Lion Knights didn't do very well. This is the problem with the Knights, they just kind of got stuck and didn't kill very much. Knights of Sigmar's Blood, considering they're sacreds, didn't do very well. Again, Nuln is definitely like outspent in this force, but I would say that this is an underperformance and an overperformance has happened here. The Dwarf's stuff overperformed and the Empire stuff underperformed, so I'm going to have a look at the balance a little bit. Order Knights, just generic ones, got some kills. Basically, the Knights didn't do very well. Sacred Tide Knights, same thing, just got murdered by all the crossbows and things. The State Crossbowmen did okay. 13 dwarfs for losing 25. If they mostly killed dwarfs, is actually okay because they are quite a lot cheaper. So I think they could have done with having more of them, and if they got flaming arrows on them, that would have been very helpful. State Spearmen did okay. You know, they're just line holders really. If we look at what the dwarfs took in terms of casualties, we can see that the engineers did well with their bows, but he had a lot of engineers. This is quite a lot of expenditure because they're 110 gold each. So that on its own is a lot of expenditure. And then we had some Thanes and Prospectors and things, but no mages whatsoever at all. I mean, the engineers are basically instead of mages. Then the Cloudsdorf crossbows did fantastically well, but there were a huge number of them, so that's what you'd expect. They're 20 gold each, and he brought 87 of them, so an absolute hail of fire there. And they killed a lot of things, and they took very few casualties. Heavy warriors, these are just line holders, and the Cloudsdorf warriors, these basically absorbed the charge from the knights, and a few of them got killed by knights, crossbows, and evocations, but other than that, didn't really do anything. Ironbreakers, they're actually quite expensive. They're 30 gold each, and there are a lot of resources, so losing 9 of them is a fairly big deal, actually. If you start to, because you think about this, you go like, oh god, they lost all these knights. Order knights are 35 gold. Ironbreakers are 30 gold. So, you know, these are very expensive infantry. Longbeards all survived. Miners, 15 lost, only killed 1. Now, the miners were being targeted by the crossbowmen. That's why they did so badly. They were just shot up by crossbowmen and didn't really get into combat that much. Raiders, this was just them shooting things, managing to kill some crossbowmen and stuff. The Rangers did really badly. That was the thing that the Knights just completely trampled. They just got obliterated right at the front of the line. Those are basically all the casualties. Rune Guards performed very well. He lost 1. They are very expensive, 55 gold each. And I believe they're capital only. And Valkyries are 50 gold each, and he brought a lot of them. So you can see they very much outspent the Empire here, ignoring the mages. And all the mages did survive, or they all got a chance to retreat at least. This is what worries me, the Thunderers. He brought 24 of them. Each of them killed about 2 things, and they only took 2 casualties. That, to me, seems a bit strong. They are expensive at 40 gold, and you can't just recruit them. You need to have got a special... You need to have done a chain of like finding sites and built a special thing in your capital to do them, or you need to summon them up. I will talk to the player playing with Thunderers. I think they may be a little bit strong, but this was a very good matchup for them. Thunderers are perfect at killing knights, which are expensive and rely on their protection and defense, which the Thunderers just ignore. So... difficult to conclude from that, but I would say some of the dwarf stuff kind of overperforming a bit and some of the Empire stuff underperforming, particularly this. This is my main balance takeaway actually is one thing is look at the Thunderers and see if they're too good. The other is I am certain that the Demigryph Order Knights are not good enough because that is a bad performance and they were just mixed in with everything else. So they shouldn't have been doing so badly. Anyway, we get our event, the Lake of God. We get a Kraken as a commander. What I'm going to do is attempt to reason out how I might thug out this Kraken because it's if I sound a bit like oh god, it's because it's really hard to turn that into a thug that does anything. But on the other hand, it is funny, and I'll show you his stats in a minute. But yeah, it's almost impossible to do, but it is funny, and maybe people might like to do it to see me do it who are watching this video. So, would have many paths. We lose some province income, whatever. Core mark, we get 5 fire gems and 3 astral pearls. That's always nice to have, but no super good events this turn. So what are we up to this turn? Well, we're doing more site searching. There's a lot more site searching going on, sneaking around and things. Here is our Kraken, Starlight. Right, here is why the Kraken is not good. This is great, blunt resistant, half damage from blunt weapons, nice. It's not as good as pierce or slash resistance, but that's nice to have. Stealthy, lovely to have. Aquatic, so if we want to take him outside of the water, outside of this system of water, we need to give him an item to let him do that. The Amulet of the Fish, which is expensive. I don't want to bother forging it, and it wastes an entire misc slot. He only has 1 misc slot yet. left after we do that. How many different stats do we need to fix in order for him to be good? He needs to have much better protection. He probably needs to have regeneration because he's got 60 hit points. He can't rely on his defense at all. Attack-wise, he can kill things, but he's not great at it. If he gets surrounded, he'll just get chopped up because obviously no defense or anything. Can't hold a shield. Doesn't have any armor. How do you get this Kraken to be good? He's going to need point buffing. He's going to need body ethereal. He's going to need moss body. All that stuff. But he can't mistform himself. So what items can you put on him for him to be good? I don't know. I think the only way that we'll be able to turn him into a decent thug is a couple of misc items that are strong on him. Maybe like a ring of regen. And what's another good misc item that we could put on him? Something to give him a bit more defense. And then just buffing him with underwater mages, which is really pointless, but it could be funny. And then maybe he can beat some small amount of province defense. He is stealthy. He could go and check out Khorne down here and just be a stealthy. He'll be a stealthy sneaky boy and do that for me. And then maybe later I'll turn him into a thug. But it is very hard. And I just wanted to show you that would be very difficult to do. So, still hiring mages, still hiring wild boys, getting a few chariots as well because they're good against dwarfs and things. And I may be in conflict with the dwarves now. Now that Nuln is basically in real trouble. They've liberated their capital, but they've just lost most of their forces there. They do still have some stuff in their capital, and of course they've got all their gold they can spend into mages or PD dumps or whatever, so who knows. I am moving a big force here because I'm no longer worried about them moving out and taking it. So I'm moving in a big force there, and if they do attempt to take that back, we will hit them, but I imagine they'll just be staying there and fighting, defending their capital against the dwarfs. I'm not going to attempt to take that off the dwarfs, and I'll talk to the dwarfs, and maybe I'll be at war with them, I'm not sure, but it's not a great place to be at war. So I don't know. I think the most likely candidate for me in a war is if I find out Slaanesh is losing this war, I might go after them. And my other obvious one is Khorne, who is busy attacking Skaven, and I'm in contest with for the water. And they've got a throne there, and they've also got a throne up here that I could go for. And they're also threatening my throne, so I've got two different fronts I could fight on. So I'm going to try and move some forces up here in case this does turn into another front. I've also heard that the ogres have just defeated Bretonnia over here. So I'm recruiting some more scouts and things so I can give you guys a better view of what's going on in the game too. Am I doing any forging? Forging more owl quills. I'm forging a lightning rod, and the reason for that is that I've got Griblet here, who's got the storm spool, which we got from an event. Storm spools help you make corpse constructs, and I have death and air, so for air gems I can make corpse constructs. If I have the storm spool and the lightning rod, those two items, I think that gives me a total of an extra 5, so you get 6 corpse constructs per casting for 1 air gem. So I actually want to set up a bunch of that and just have a big army of Frankensteins running around because corpse constructs are really fun and we can buff them quite well with our various paths that we have. So I'm getting a lightning rod there. They do cost earth gems, which is a bit of a problem. Storm spools, on the other hand, I think are pretty easy to make. Am I wrong about that? You know what? I'm going to go to the mod inspector and really quickly look up storm spools so I can give you the correct information. Go to the mod inspector. Let me know in a comment if you don't know what the mod inspector is, because it's like the most valuable tool for looking at stuff in Dominions. And I should really tell you. So the storm spool is construction level 4, so we don't have that yet, and it requires air 1, 5 air gems, so we can make that. You can also help make them with the Staff of Storms. It's really, really good for doing that. But Staff of Storms is construction 6 and takes 5 air, so it's very hard to make. I would love to get Staff of Storms. It's great for stopping flyers and for helping people do storm power. We have a lot of air mages, so you could do storm power, but that's a long way off because we don't have that kind of level of air magic at all. Anyway, my god's going to go and take this other province, and then I don't know what the god's going to do next. I'll have to think about it. And we're kind of looking for our next war because this one with Nuln is basically over. We've avoided a lot of entanglements, but we've also been very inefficient moving our troops around, and we haven't had a really successful war of just taking somebody over. Taking over a capital is a really big deal. I'm worried about how strong the dwarfs are, so I'd like to find out a neighbour of the dwarfs. If I could talk to a neighbour of the dwarfs and maybe get them to conflict. I mean, look how big they are. Look at this, and they're probably going to get all of these underwater provinces as well. Maybe we could talk to the Tomb Kings and see if they want to attack the dwarfs. I'm not sure. We want to talk to somebody who borders the dwarfs but does not border us, crucially, and then see if we can like team up on them something. But I think we may be in conflict with the dwarfs, and I know the player playing them is I don't know how good he is as a player, but he's an intelligent person. I say he. I'm actually not sure if it's I'm not sure of their gender, but they're an intelligent enough person. They've been talking to me about various things to do with the mod, and from what I have seen of them, they seem quite engaged and know what they're doing. So we would probably have quite a hard fight if we were in a war with the dwarfs, and the dwarfs are quite a scary matchup for us, I would say. What would be really good against the dwarfs is air elementals, tons and tons of full-sized air elementals, and to do that, we would need to have conjuration level 5 to get air elementals. Get a lot of good stuff in conjuration as well. There's various different spells here that are really useful. Foul Vapors, very strong against the dwarfs. Very, very strong against that army we just saw. If we'd been able to Foul Vapors trap that, ooh, that would have been delicious. And Foul Vapors, not difficult for us to get to at all. Something that we can cast quite easily. So I definitely want to get to enchantment level 5 at some point. Another option for getting the air elementals up is we need conjuration level 5. Alteration would give us, I believe that's where Storm is. Let's have a quick look. Am I wrong? Where is Storm? I'm wrong about it being here. Alteration doesn't actually get us that. Why do we want to go up Alteration? I'm just trying to remind myself why I put that in. Stone Skin, Moss Body is very strong. Swarm is very strong. So there's a few things there that would be good. Where is Storm? Is it in Evocation? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really want to go down Evocation, but that's how you get Storm, which is necessary to do Summon Storm power to get my air mages to have a higher level of air magic. It would give me access to like lightning bolts and things, but other than that, Evocation is not terribly interesting to me. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think the correct thing to do actually here is to not go down Alteration. And if we look at Enchantment, I think it maybe is just to take level 5 so that we've got Foul Vapors in the pocket for whatever war we're in. If it's the dwarfs, that's great against them, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be using there, but it also gives us a bunch of stuff that's useful underwater. Friendly Currents is good. Thunder Ward is good for us to have against Slaanesh. Yeah, there's a few different things that we can get. But the main thing is Foul Vapors. Horde of Skeletons is okay, but we don't actually have that many Deathcasters. I thought I was making more, but that's the Goblin Great Shaman is our Deathcaster. Yeah, so, I mean, do we want any alteration? I guess getting Moss Body is quite exciting for us and quite fun. Enlarge can be quite fun for point buffing stuff. I tell you what. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I want Construction level 4. I want Alteration level 3. I want Enchantment level 5. Let's go for that, and we'll just play it by ear as we go along. I think that's kind of enough blathering. There's not really much going on this turn. I'm just repositioning troops, doing research, forging some things, getting this corpse man construction factory going, and we're going to have that one going, and we'll probably have another because we've got so many air gems. I want to get these nature gems doing something, but I find I've always got a lack of mage turns. I guess because I've got them out sight searching and I've got lots of them tied up researching with owl quills. So yeah, always a lack of mages. Want to just really keep cranking mages out. We've got really good income at the moment. You can see. Not much in the way of upkeep, really good income from taking all these underwater provinces. It's been fantastic for us. And I said I would show you all those sites, so I'm going to do that now. So Mammoth Grove, Skysplit Oak, +1 air, 1 air and 1 nature. Enchantresses are actually not very interesting for us. They're basically the same as what we've already got. They can give us access to more earth, so I could make enchantresses, but it's a bit of a vulnerable province. It's right on my border. But yeah, Glen of Verdant greenery, so we're getting more nature income from that. That's good. 2 in Copper Canyons. Gem deposits is just money, which is great. Enchanted Windmill is supply points and air. I was correct about that one. And then we also got in Cormark. Was it an overgrown lake? It was an overgrown lake. That's actually really nice. Getting the water gem income is great. Look at this nature income. Given that we can, with a Moonvine Bracelet and a Thistle Mace, get up to Nature 5, what's our Nature 5 target? If we're in Alteration, I doubt we'll be the first to get to it, but if we got to Alteration 5, we've got Mother Oak, which is obviously incredibly good. Have we got anything else high nature that we can cast up? I mean, we've got various really cool spells up here. I was thinking more of global since we've got so many nature gems, so much nature gem income. Gift of Health is level 7 in enchantment, so we could be headed towards that. Getting relief up is obviously very good. Forest domes are good to protect our thrones. Yeah, we've got a lot of targets. As always, I just want more research, and having this big base of gem income is really solid for getting stuff up. But maybe, given that nobody's stopping us, maybe we should just get Mother Oak up? Alteration level 5? Let's put it on there to remind ourselves. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you next turn. Not sure if this is going to be the end of the video, but either way, I will see you next turn. Bye for now. Welcome back. It's turn number 24. We have cast Corpseman Construction, so we're going to be getting Corpseman every turn from our very efficient casting. We've got a battle in New Mecra in the magic phase. This is probably Call of the Winds, since it's Nuln casting on us. Yep, Call of the Winds cast onto... how much province defense is that? 6 points? 6 or 7 points province defense. It's going to be close. But the heavy infantry are probably going to swing it. They're quite hard for the birds to deal with. And I think we've won that, yes. Only just. We did win that, so that's good. This is the last gasp of Nuln. In fact, they may have gone AI, because AI likes to do that. Anyway, we found a magic site in Boat Eater. The Ridge of Ice gives us an extra water gem income. That's good. And we haven't found anywhere else. So we've been having loads of great turns for sites, but we've basically site searched the majority of our stuff now, so we're not having so many great turns for that. There was a battle in the storms. This is just our god smashing another bunch of tritons. I will set that on super fast, and we will see the usual will happen, which is that he doesn't take any damage and just destroys them or they run away. Very effective at clearing out these underwater provinces with no issue at all. And then we've got a battle in Tyrannea. This is Nuln attacking us. And we had moved our big stack to Tyrannea, so we're not too worried about that. Interesting. So here's our big stack on sparse line, so incredibly wide line of troops. Got some archers and things, got flaming arrows caster there. And what they have got is a bunch of commanders. So we've got a Knight of Sigmar's Blood. We've got an Amethyst Wizard Lord, probably a multi-hero, I'm guessing. We've got their state captain, not their prophet. We've got one of their national heroes, Theodore Bruckner, who's pretty badass, and when he dies, he explodes. And he can do a lot of damage, but obviously he's just going to get chewed up here. He's got a lot of protection, but it's not going to be enough. And we've got Hans Leitdorf, the Grandmaster of Sigmar's Blood. Actually, those hit points are probably a bit too high there. Oh, it might be because they've got a combined profile. I don't think that his mount is separated from him. Anyway, we've also got some Hoburg crossbowmen in the province defense, so it's nice to have those. Hoburg province defense is amazing. So the little Hoburg militia are going to run out there and... He just completely whiffed that attack. He did. This is the thing about Hoburgs. They have insane defense for their how cheap they are. Look at that, defense 14. Anyway, flaming arrows fire. They're all firing at this state captain. That's weird, but okay. Theodore Bruckner's surrounded by goblins and things now. He's starting to take some hits. Oh, he's already taken an affliction chest wound, so well, that's good. He's going to go down pretty quick then. They're fleeing. Theodore Bruckner's getting pelted with flame arrows, which is just going to chew him up no problem. And then we're going back to deal with the Amethyst Lord. Theodore Bruckner explodes. Ooh, Nether Bolts killed some of my guys. This guy's been running around all over the place. The Grandmaster of the Sigmar's Blood, he's now fleeing. We're shooting up some of our own troops, which is a bit unfortunate, but we're going to get the Amethyst Wizard Lord out of there. And that's that. So what did we lose? 5 War Boys, and the rest doesn't really matter. But 5 War Boys is a bit annoying. Then we've got a lot of battles that we witnessed this turn. So we've got a battle in Dathan. This is Nagarond attacking Slanesh, just some province defense. That's a very straightforward one. I'll just put this on super fast. Yeah, straightforward little raiding party from Nagarond there. They did lose a couple of troops. Then we've got the Dwarfs attacking Nuln with their big stack, and Nuln is fighting with very little. They're just going to get annihilated. They're probably not even going to kill anything. The Thunderers and Crossbows slaughtering those knights. Maybe a bit of friendly fire, killed a couple of dwarfs there. Interesting. And they're going to siege that incredibly quickly. So Nuln is just gone from the game now, basically. They did lose one Ironbreaker to friendly fire. Slaanesh attacking Nagaron and Kepes and Zemike. Let's look at Kepes first. We're attacking them with just a goat herd. He dies, that's fine. And then in Zemike, we've got a group of Chaos Warriors and a Slaaneshi Sorcerer Lord and a Griffin Rider. Kind of interesting. Obviously benefits a lot from the Bless in theory, but I think the Bless missed, did it? Oh, he blessed himself. Their Bless is really strong. It's morale, shock resistance, poison resistance, fire resistance, cold resistance. So elemental resistance across the board and magic resistance makes them very good. And regeneration and chill aura makes them very good in like late game battles. Not so important for just winning like fights, which is kind of interesting. So this might be our window around now to fight Slaanesh, and I'll talk about that a bit more in a moment. The Griffin Rider gets killed by the Ralek Bloodsteel, the Master. So Master is basically just their basic commander of the Dark Elves, but he did a good job there. We can see they've got Lightning Bolt researched, so we need to be aware of that. Then we have a battle in the Weld, and this is a big one. So this is Wood Elves attacking Kislev, and I understand that Kislev have basically been losing their war against Wood Elves. So let's have a look at what we've got going on. This is in a forest. We've got Eternal Guard at the front. Then we've got Glade Guard, lots of them. And their leaders are a Glade Captain and a Glade. There's a Glade Rider in there, yeah. And then they've got a Tree Man. They're very strong and expensive, Tree Men. And they've got some of their sacred Sisters of the Thorn, which of course have spring or mortality, so they can risk those in battles. They'll come back in the spring. And we've got a Glade Lord and a Great Eagle. I think that's a multi-hero. So we've got a decent force from the Wood Elves. And then Kislev has got a very strong bear-themed force. So we've got a few war wagons who can shoot and trample. We've got a lot of these sacred bears, the war bears. We've got a lot of the sacred Knight of Ursin, which is riding a bear, and much better protection than the bear, of course. And then, have they really got anything else? There's not much else to talk about in there. There must be a leader in there somewhere. Oh yeah, they've got their national hero, Katerin Bokha, the Ice Queen, Tsarina Katerin. There we go. So let's see what happens here. So I would expect the bears to get hurt quite a bit by this. Well, they've got Ice Wizard Lord as well. This Eternal Guard is going to get shredded. Worthy of note here is these bears are not getting blessed at all. There's no blessing whatsoever. They're still going to be pretty good. They're seeing some lightning bolts coming down and some ice bolts, and the bear cavalry charging in. Some of the bear cavalry getting killed there. War wagons trampling over stuff. The war wagon's going to do great against these archers, just trampling them up, I think. Ooh, Tree Man just deletes one of the war wagons. A lot of the war wagons are sitting back and shooting, but some of them are charging forward, and the bears are charging forward. Basically, the Wood Elves have not managed to contain the tide of bears, and so they're getting mauled up pretty badly. And some good evocation here, lightning bolts and cold bolts, is killing off some Wood Elves. The Wood Elf commander's taken off and is landing over here. I don't know. He looks like he might be quite vulnerable. It looks like the Wood Elves have been routed. The Tree Man's getting chopped up. It's these Bear Knights. They hit really hard. He's nearly dead. And this Bear Knight here kills him. "26 points of damage. Oh, it's these chopping weapons, the glaives. Treemen have resistance to piercing and blunt, I think, but not to chopping. So you can chop down a tree. And they lost their Glade Lord over there too. He's dead. So overall, some bears are fleeing, but oh, and the Spring Immortal's fighting on. There's left. That war wagon got immobilized. Overall, pretty good for Kislev, I would say. Maybe not a good thing in terms of the war, how that's progressing, but they did win that battle. This battle report's balked up, so don't pay any attention to this. Obviously, the Knights of Ursin, we saw them kill stuff. We know they didn't get 0 kills, so this is just messed up, this battle report, and it's because of the different shapes and things involved in the war wagon. Seems to have confused it, so it's got this wrong, but we saw what happened. Anyway, good to see some nice fights. Then events, we get Dominion Change in Lake of God. What does that mean? that means that our dominion switches from being our dominion to being someone else's dominion, I think, which is a bit annoying. Nikia, we have a magic site found in defense +8. This is an interesting one. The magic site is the Knightly Order. So yeah, you get knight commanders and knights that you can recruit. I probably won't because I'm just playing as the orcs somewhat thematically, so I'm not going to have humans running around being all oomy. Increases order, fine. Adds extra units to native province defense. That is good. So if we look at this, this is a started off at 15 defense. For each point of defense, you get an extra knight, and then the province already has heavy cavalry in it. And for every like 3 points, 4 points, you get extra heavy cavalry. So at 20 points, you get a lot of knights, you get heavy cavalry, and so on. So I'm just going to leave that at 20. And then we also got this event in the Typhian Sea. A treasure has been found, huge amount of gold, fire gems, air gems, water gems, earth gems, and a blood pendant. The blood pendant is not very interesting. I will show that to you in a moment. But we've also got a fortress in Cormac. So that's our fortress on the throne setup. And let's have a quick look at that blood pendant. Blood spell range +2, +1, or in combat +25%. Don't care about that. Strength +2 and dark vision. Pfft. I'll just give it to somebody who needs some extra strength at some point, probably. It's not very good, though. Anyway, what are we up to this turn? Well, we had a lot of gold, so we spent a lot on just boosting our province defense up in a bunch of places, just to get a bit more coverage against events and things. So we've done that. And over here, we could go after these barbarians, or we could attack Bretonnia, because I've heard that they're struggling a bit in their war with the ogres. But I decided not to do that, and my god is instead coming back to my capital. And the reason for that is that I have decided to attack Slaanesh. Partly because their battle with the Dark Elves is going very back and forth. And I haven't seen like a big doom stack or anything. It's just been a kind of, you can see there's Slaanesh taking stuff down there, up there. Slaanesh has obviously got this core land, but the Dark Elves have taken some of it. So it's a real back and forth fight that they're in at the moment. And that is the perfect thing for me to just attack into. So I am repositioning lots of forces along this border. I will potentially be using Cloud Trapeze to Cloud Trapeze in some mages, like Duffgrub, for instance. If we were to Cloud Trapeze in Duffgrub, he could then cast Lesser Elementals. He could do a bunch of them. And just do a bunch of those. That's enough to beat Province Defense up, usually. And I'd probably send them in as pairs, the mages, and just hit this various stuff wherever I can. So I want good coverage. I'm moving some scouts around in here to make sure I can see the different provinces I want to go for. And I'm moving stuff into this edge here. So we've got various troops coming in here. You can see more stuff coming in here, including some corpse men, some cavalry and things coming in there. Not a huge amount, and maybe we won't attack next turn. We've also got some coming in here, but I think it would be good to push the attack as soon as possible, get the war on. And I'm a bit tired of not really being in a proper war. Like, we did a bit of vulturing down here, but not much else. I'm also sending my Wyvern Riding Great Showmans back, so they'll be able to help with flaming arrows and things. And I'm building a lot of troops just in these provinces, just getting some more archers and things for the big fight that comes up. But flaming arrows is not going to be terribly useful against anything sacred Slaanesh has, and it's not terribly useful against those kite shielded Chaos Warriors, which are the main thing that we've seen so far. So I'm not super into that. I think what would be really useful against them is air elementals. That would be very strong. We don't have full-size air elementals. My god is going to be good in the battle. You know, they're coming over. I'm probably going to want to give them shock resistance. So when they get to a lab, they'll probably take the snake ring off, and I will throw on the storm spool or something like that. We're doing Corpseman construction, but I'm happy to give up storm spool temporarily to have that available. Actually, maybe instead of forging an owl quill this turn, we should forge storm spool. Oh wait, we need construction 4, so I can't actually do that right now. Okay, so there's various things to think about there. We could also give him, he's got good fire resistance currently. He'll still have some poison resistance even without that. He'll have 5. Yeah, the problem is he likes fighting in his own dominion, and the only place he can do that is like down there. So it would be nice to have construction 4 and do a bit more before I attack with him, but time is of the essence, I think. We want to get moving. Anyway, we'll have construction 4 soon. And I'm pretty happy with where we're at. No one's at war with us, really. We've got potential wars with Slaanesh. I'm kind of planning on attacking them. Khorne is obviously an issue and is controlling some underwater stuff I'd rather have. The Dwarfs are obviously very big. You can see they're all the way over here too. At this point in the game, I think it's always good to have a plan of how you might win. So one way I could win is attack Slanesh, take him over, become very strong, and move on to other stuff. But an important thing about attacking Slanesh is it doesn't really get us any closer to taking any thrones. So if we were trying to win by thrones, well, we've got an Athel Lauren one up here. We've got this one here. We could certainly get to that through the water or go around this edge and get to it. We've got the throne underwater here. That's definitely a potential target. And we would have to take 3 thrones in order to win, because we've already got 3. We need 12 points to ascend. So if we took that, we'd only need 2 more thrones, right? So if we took the Corn throne, then where else would we go? We could use flying units and things. We've got flying Holy Threes. We could maybe get over there. We'd have to get closer first, but we could potentially go and get that. We could potentially fly over and hit this. I don't know. We'd need to have scouts look at it. And I would like to hire some more scouts. I think I don't have... Yeah, I've got the resources in that to hire a scout. That's very irritating. Is there anywhere where I could hire a scout? This province looks like it could hire a scout. Yep. So we're going to get some scouts down here to go and find some stuff for us. And maybe I'll just get a couple of orcs to boost up the province defense a bit. Hang around. You know, they're an okay investment of golden resources just as like fodder. Anyway, that's everything for this turn, and I think everything for this video. Like, subscribe, etc. Blah blah. Leave any comments if you've got any questions for me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.